It's been a very busy year for Audio-Technica. Can you share some highlights with us?
Yeah, where to start? It's been full on, and we're not finished yet. Okay. Of course, we've had a huge sporting event in Europe, in France this year, which has obviously taken a lot of resource. Very exciting when you look at something of that scale as well. It's never been done before. Okay, so we've had to learn quite a bit and expand on there. In conjunction with that, which takes quite a bit of resource, as I've said, we've had the ongoing of MotoGP, which is we're now completing our 6th year with those guys, and it's hard to believe. I've just come back from Barcelona, actually, the finale, and talking with them, and none of us can believe how fast it's gone and how integrated that we've become as a brand and a solution within their format. So very exciting with that as well. And then, of course, we have to run the business at the same time. It's nice doing these great big sporting events, but we're a supplier of audio across the world, and we're a very wide-ranging company as well in terms of our product portfolio. We're obviously here talking about broadcast today, but we go right down through retail. And what I like to describe Audio-Technica is, and really focus on, is the fact that ultimately we are a transducer manufacturer. So, that's not just microphones, but also headphones and cartridges. This is where we started back in the 60s. So I think it's important to come back to that as well and remember where our roots are and where our core technology and skills are. And that's why I think we succeed so well at the speed that we're working with now with the key broadcasters.
Thank you. Immersive audio is being used more widely in sport now. What challenges do you see being associated with creating and delivering immersive audio? And how close are we to widespread adoption?
Yeah, so that's a really interesting question, because let's go back to that transducer point. As you know, we developed an 8.0, what we call our 8.0 microphone. That first saw use 2019, 2020. Obviously, we had a large games. We've been working again with MotoGP on working through that prototyping, etc. In fact, they're still using 3 prototypes. So I need to get those changed. So we've been at the outset and actually have been able to experience, where the challenges are coming in terms of that signal chain. And I think that's exactly what it is. It's the whole signal chain through to the end user. Now, as a microphone manufacturer, we could just say, okay, there's a microphone, there's a cable, you do the rest. But we have to be part of a solution, otherwise we're not going to be able to realize our own investment in that technology and what we've done as well. So I think it's very exciting. Content is king, and it's more and more people have leisure time, they have better solutions at home, and they want to experience like being in a sporting event. So I think there's lots of technologies that can help along the process, but the main challenge for me is the whole process and getting an end-to-end delivery from the outset of the content. And that's where I think I see the challenge over these past 7 years that we've been working in this so-called immersive space for broadcasts. Now, what I like about sports broadcasts as well is it's live. So you have to they have to be talented and find ways to make that solution straight through. So it's not about back-end processing, etc., post-production. So that's a challenge as well. But I think some ways when you're doing something live, and this is what we found at MotoGP, you've got bikes hurtling around the track at 350 kilometers an hour plus, it's almost like we have to go at the same speed. So I think that live environment helps accelerate our own development and our own desire to see this format succeed for the broadcasters.
Thank you. In addition to immersive audio, what other trends do you expect to see in 2025?
Yeah, so immersive audio, I think we should probably understand that we will see more, in my view, more solutions at home which are affordable, not just in terms of the end user, the content consumer, but really in terms of a broadcaster. I think that's really important. I think we're always early adopters in the creation side, and certainly top sporting events which we're talking about here today, they have the budgets to be able to achieve that. So getting that through to the end user is key in my view. It's not something that we can do, but it's something we can be a promoter of if we all work together in this industry. So technology there is very important. How do we minimize that technology, make it affordable, but also for broadcasters to say we can generate revenue by giving a better experience, an immersive experience to someone at home. So I think that's important. Secondly, I mean, we're talking about remote production and doing remote production for years and years. Okay, it's very important. Why? Because it's not just about the cost, it's obviously about the whole, social corporate responsibility, people looking to reduce carbon footprint. So, all manufacturers, all providers are going to have to comply. The EU will be first, but other countries will come. It's not going away. So how we can develop technology, not just in remote production, but how do we make those enablers? Again, I said, we're a transducer manufacturer, so we could just walk away and say, there's your microphone, there's your headphone, why we're flapping a piece of material that converts it into electrical signals, we're done. But absolutely wrong. As I said earlier, we need to be part of a solution, and that's where I think it's going to be very exciting. So how can a microphone manufacturer, ease that path, both in terms of usability, in terms of cost, in terms of deployability? So I'm very excited to see what's going to develop in that space, and that's where I think the trends will be. So enabling the remote production that we're already doing as we get bigger bandwidth availability and be able to balance up the cost of having people on site versus people remote. I think technology enablers are making that a very smooth, seamless integration so that it really is just a plug and play, rock up and get going solution needs to happen. And that I see that happening, and I'm quite pleased, and I want to be part of that, even as a microphone manufacturer.